Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. This is my second TBR pile of possibilities for July. The first one went up a few days ago, and it was around the catch-up-a-thon and the books that I might read for the catch-up-a-thon, which starts in a few days. This is something that's hosted by Krista at Books and Jams, also Amy at Amy's Bookish Life, and Desi at Desi Read. So go to any of their channels, watch their videos. I think they also have a pile of possibilities. But catch-up-a-thon happens every year. It's where you catch up on, if you choose, your Book of the Month Club reads, or if you don't choose to read those, you can read anything that you want, but just basically catch up on some of the things that you haven't read already. And so this is just a brief synopsis of what that's about, but there's fun little prompts and it's a fun thing, and there's sprints, and I encourage you to participate if you feel like doing so, which I will do. And I have some books that I absolutely need to read. And I have some books that I might want to read in this month. And so let's talk about those, shall we? The first one is an ARC that I received from NetGalley. This is The Unraveling of Julia by Lisa Scottoline, or Scottoline, depending on who pronounces it which way. And I am enjoying this one so far. Julia is the main character, obviously, from the title of this book. And she is a woman who her husband has been murdered. And in fact, he was murdered in front of her. So that's how this novel starts out the gate. So it really pushes you into this like, oh my gosh, moment. And then it kind of slows down a little as you talk about how she's healing and recovering and trying to, get out of her house and grieving, honestly. That's the whole next little bit. And then the next thing you know, she gets a letter from an attorney in Tuscany who says that she's been bequeathed an estate there, a Tuscan villa, and that she is to come and claim this, which is very interesting to her because she was adopted and she knows nothing about her family of origin. So where I am now, she's gone to Italy, and it's kind of a gothic-y feel. It's really creepy. The person who left her the property may or may not be a relative, is what she's thinking, but also was creepy. And so I like it. It went fast, and then it went medium, and now it's kind of gone a little bit slow, but I'm sure it's going to pick up. This comes out on July 15th. I'm super excited, and I'd like to read that before July 15th so I can give feedback to NetGalley about this arc. But I'm really grateful to them for having gifted it to me or sent it to me. Another one that I have to get to this month, and I've already started because I'm filming this on July 1st, is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. This is a buddy read with my friend Jamie, and I'm super excited to get to this finally. It's been on my backlist for a while. It was supposed to be a book club read with my library. They gave me this copy. It's not in the best shape. I don't care, but I have begun to read this nonfiction piece about the Golden State Killer and Michelle McNamara's efforts to try to find out who he was and to investigate this. So Michelle McNamara, if you didn't know, has passed away. She passed away while she was finishing this book, and her lead researcher and colleague helped to finish it for her, which is really wonderful. There is a foreword by Gillian Flynn who talks about how she admired Michelle McNamara and how they met. There's also an afterword by her husband, Patton Oswalt. They were married. They were together for 13 years. They were married for 10 years. I'm fascinated with Patton Oswalt too, by the way, and that's for another video. But he does talk about this. Obviously, they were married when she passed away, and they had a child. And so this is a very difficult read for a lot of reasons. One, because Michelle McNamara is no longer with us. She was very young when she died. Also because this is about a serial killer, and I got to tell you, I'm listening and reading it physically, and it's pretty gruesome. It's pretty gruesome and violent. If you don't like really a lot of details about murders and about what happened, it's probably not the book for you, but I'm gonna do my best. I did not have nightmares last night, so I feel like I'm still doing okay, but I've wanted to read that for a long time, and I just did not make room for it. So the next one is for book club, for the Pride Without Prejudice book club that I attend Now and again at my library, whenever I can, this is Armistead Maupin's third book, Further Tales from the City. I love this author. I've loved his first book so, so much, and it's good that I'm going to continue this one. So there's lots of really, really short, short stories in here, short little musings, and they're just so much fun. And the characters that he describes in these little stories are so much fun. So if I don't finish it, I'm still going to go to book club because there's just going to be so much to talk about, and we'll talk about him as well. But this says the calamity-prone residents of 28 Barbary Lane are at it again in this deliciously dark novel of romance and betrayal. While Anna Madrigal imprisons an anchor woman in her basement, Michael Tolliver looks for love at the National Gay Rodeo. Dee Dee Haley Day and Mary Ann Singleton track a charismatic psychopath across Alaska, and society columnist Prue Giroux loses her heart to a derelict living in a San Francisco park. And that's just a couple of these. Love it. I think there's a series about this too. Another book I would like to read as book club selection, I know, is my friends Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library and Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand have a book club on Facebook now, and they are reading The Beach Trap by Allie Brady. And this one I've seen it before and I haven't looked at it necessarily, but when she said they were going to do it for their book club, I decided to go ahead and take a look at it. I have it on audio through Hoopla at the moment. I don't know that I intend to purchase it, so this will probably be one that I listen to. I am listening to this one as well, but I gotta say it's hard for me sometimes to track so far, but I also was listening while I was driving in the car, which is never a good listen for me. So there you go. But anyway, I am hoping to get finished with The Beach Trap. They have it laid out, as do Jamie and I, for this one. We kind of have a cadence that we're going to follow, and I think it'll be good for me. And they're going to do some sprints too, so we can read during sprints. So I'm excited about that one. So this is about two girls who were best friends as young girls. They met at a camp, I think, and they just were like connected. You know how that happens when you're a kid. We all have one of those relationships, and everything was great till they found out that they were actually related to each other. They're half sisters. They have the same father. So then their relationship kind of dissolved, and that made it very difficult for them, I'm assuming, in some ways. So later on, the father dies, and they are summoned by an attorney to take care of his estate or whatever he has left. And he was in Destin, Florida. So they both head to Destin, Florida to settle all of this for themselves and for their dad. Also, though, Kat is a social media influencer, and then Blake has been a nanny and a dog sitter, but I think she's experiencing some hard times at work-wise. I'm not sure. But they're going to come together again and be reunited, and probably there's maybe not hate to love, but difficulty to, oh, I love you so much kind of a situation. We shall see. I mean, it's a summer kind of a light-hearted read. Aside from their relationship, I don't know that there's any other people involved in this book, but I don't want to know too much about it. I just want to devour it and enjoy it. And hopefully it's light, because some of this stuff is light. Some of this stuff is super dark. Yeah. So the next thing that's on my list as a possibility, and this would be something I would not finish in July. This is maybe my next big book summer read. I'd like to get to this one, The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This was on my big books that I wanted to read this year, and then I think I also added it to a pile of possibilities for big book summer, but this one is a chunker for sure. This is bigger than the sequel to it, or the second one in the series. This is 566 pages. This is about Levira, is that her name? Yes, I got it right. And Evar. I've read the synopsis to you multiple times, but this is the Library trilogy, book one. So they both end up somehow connected to a library. It's fantasy. It feels like fantasy would be a good step out of the other genres that I'm presenting to you today, which is one of the reasons why I brought it forward. But I would like to read this one because it's been on my backlist now for a couple of years. I think this came out in 2023. So not terribly long, but a while ago. Now, Mark Lawrence, 2023. Mark Lawrence has written a lot of books, a lot of fantasy, but I have only ever really learned about this one. And so this is the one that I'm going to start with for sure and then see what happens. So then I went to the library. I was on my way for my hair appointment, which I had been late to the last two times, and I didn't want to be late, so I left super early. And I was early. So I ran into the library that's not far from my hairdresser and looked around and just really didn't plan to take out anything. Although I often do take out books from my libraries because even if I don't read them, then they get their borrows and that gives them good stats and that gives them funding and it just all comes together. So I ended up picking up a couple of books there at the library and I would like to read them if time allows. So the first one is That Librarian by Amanda Jones. This is nonfiction. It's a fairly short read. I have been interested in reading this one for a while. It is in pristine condition, so I'm not sure that a lot of people are checking this out. But the reason I love this book so much is because she started in 2022 a significant rebellion against anyone banning books in America, in particular in Louisiana, where she lives. So now you know why this one also resonates with me, because I live next door to Louisiana and I have family in Louisiana. I have kids that read in Louisiana and they all want the books that they want. So I would love to read this and get to this. I think it would be fast. It does have some photographs in it as well, I think. And I just think Amanda Jones is a bookish hero. So that one, whoops, let me put this in this stack. That one is a possibility. And then Kill for Me, Kill for You, Steve Kavanaugh. This one is one that I have had my eye on since it came out. I have read another book by Steve Kavanaugh, maybe two, and I really enjoyed it. This came out in 2023, so it's been out for a while. This would also be then a backlist because I have been wanting to read it. This is a trope that's very familiar, two people meet, maybe, in some iterations of this, and maybe the original iteration of this, it's two people who meet on a train, but in this case, it's two people who meet, two women, which I like that this is women. They meet at a bar, I think. Yeah, over drinks. They realize they have a lot in common and they continue to share it with each other. And the next thing you know, they make a deal that if you kill for me, I will kill for you. And I really like that trope. It hasn't worn me out yet. So I'm going to keep trying the different books that are like this. And maybe I'll do a video on some of those tropes, but I love Steve Kavanaugh. I read, the one about the jury. What was it? Gosh, it was so good. It was like compelling for me. 13, the Eddie Flynn series number 4, which you can read out of order because I did. But this is not the Eddie Flynn series. This is a standalone, just so you know. And I have put on my list the Eddie Flynn one, which is called The Defense. I would like to get to this. It's not also terribly long, so that wouldn't take a lot of time. And if it's as good as the other one was, I probably would finish it quickly. 340 pages. So, and again, I could probably renew those because they're both pretty new and they were both sitting there. So I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. So if you add up the 6 that I shared with you in the catch-up-a-thon pile of possibilities, this is 7 or 8. 7. That would be 13 books. Is it possible for me to read 13 books in a month? I doubt it, but you never know. We shall see. I am really looking forward to all of them, though, and also, again, just enjoying this first one that I've started, and I can't wait. Well, actually, I started 2 of them, so I can't wait to get moving on these and to tell you all about them. Let me know if you've read any of these. You know the drill. I need to know everything you read. Let me know if you're interested in any of them. I appreciate your candid comments. When you are not interested, you are happy to say, oh, I can't. No, that's not for me. And when you really get enthused about them, you also just share so much joy. And I really love this community so, so very much. This is one of my favorite things I get to do. You probably have heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. Being with you in this way is something I look forward to all the time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to do that. If you want to not comment below, but you want me to know that you were here, you can leave an emoji. And since it's July, summer, you could leave a flag, you could leave a beverage, you could leave a sun, whatever works for you. So I know that you are here. And thanks again so much for your presence with me. And as always, happy reading. Bye.